Hi, welcome to Live United. My name is Karen Knapp, President, CEO, United Way of St. Lucie County. Each month, we interview individuals who work at the agencies the United Way funds. They're here to talk to you about the programs we invest in. It's very important to United Way that you understand where your dollars go and all the wonderful work that's being done day in and day out to help the people here in our community. And we want to welcome you today, Mustardseed Ministries. Welcome, Stacy.
Thank you.
You know, Mustardseed has been around quite a while, and you've evolved into, you know, from this little seed into this massive tree with many branches.
That's right.
And there are many things that you do, and you brought with us. You want to introduce your guest?
Absolutely. I'd like to introduce to you Uhura Wally. Uhura has been with us for quite a while. I've known her, and I have seen her tree grow amazingly.
Right, and she has quite a story, don't you? Yeah, we're gonna be talking to you in a second. But let's first talk about the mission and the history of Mustardseed Ministries.
Yes, Mustardseed Ministry actually was incorporated in 1986. And if you think back now, we're almost into 32 years of service in our community. And it has evolved from a couple hundred clients they saw that first year with approximately maybe, you know, a couple $1,000s that started by 4 churches that helped us to where we are now looking at 17 services and over 76,000 people we served last year. So when you look at that magnitude, what happened? It took a lot to get to that point, but it was not without our community could we have done that.
Many things have changed throughout the year. As you said, you started out with $4,000 to help people in our community, and you've grown, you know, you're massive now. And you know, when you think about Mustardseed, you have a very good reputation, and people rely on you. They not only rely on you, but they believe and trust in you because they know how accountable you are. And when you talk today about your programs, people need to understand that behind everything is accountability. I mean, you can say it, but I can say it as United Way, that we believe in that, and we believe in everything that you're doing and how you do it.
Well, it is, and it actually is the foundation that came in how we started this organization with 4 of our downtown churches that got together, and they really were very overwhelmed with the amount of clients would walk within their church to ask for help and didn't realize there was not one clearing place that we could send everybody to one location. So those churches were really the ones that came, and they actually helped form the beginning part of this, and our mission was to help the whole person. So financially, emotionally, spiritually, in every way. If we take and help someone financially, but emotionally they're not in a place to be able to move forward, all 3 of those have to work together. So that allowed us to be able to help the whole person. So that kind of where it started from, but has it evolved, as we just spoke about, is the programs. We knew there were certain things that it continued to need. So to start with a small food pantry and paying some utility bills and just being there for the community to where we are now, the world has changed. And so as Mustardseed had to be able to meet the needs and what we were doing out there. And the accountability is the strongest aspect of what we have to do. We're all accountable for what goes on in our lives. And we're here just to help them through that.
And you're always on a continual basis, you receive generous support from the community, not only the churches.
Correct.
But let's talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, the churches were our foundation. They most certainly were. And the nice part about this, those 4 churches are still with us today. They're still supporting us. And now there's multiple churches that are involved. But they're less than 20% of our funding. And it fluctuates each time. But they're doing so many things behind the scenes with us as well as the community does, which would be anything from volunteering for our Thanksgiving community feast to bringing in volunteers within the organization. And that they've been there for us. And that is, when you know that community is behind you, it's unlimited of what you can do.
And when you look at your volunteer hours, we took account of all the hours our volunteers spent supporting United Way, and I believe it was over 200,000 hours. And if you multiplied that times whatever they allow, you can say, you can really put a value on that work. Not only are we helping them because people get a lot out of volunteering, but we're also saving dollars and really stretching our dollars so that we can do more in the community.
Absolutely. So when our volunteers, we cannot do the job we do today without volunteers. Every part of our organization has volunteers in it. Everything, from our human service side of it to our thrift stores to our food pantries to the garden. Every part of that makes it possible to keep our staff and our income low with a low administration fee, but making sure we do the job that's required of us.
Mm-hmm. And you're involved with other agencies.
100%. If we were to be the only one out there doing this job, it would never succeed. None of us can do it by ourselves. And the churches couldn't do it by themselves, and that's when they knew that's not what their business was to do. Yes, to help people, but to truly help them move ahead. If I just come in and take care of your crisis, it's my crisis. But when we do it together and we remove the barriers, give them the resources that they need, then that's possible. So the sustainability, the accountability, every piece of that comes with a whole entire network from businesses, St. Lucie County Community Services, the Image of Christ, Graceway. I could go down to who we talk to daily.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's not just nonprofit agencies you deal with government, and we all do.
Absolutely.
And that's very important, and the government entities in St. Lucie County know the value of nonprofits, and they're very happy. It's like the school district here.
Correct.
I mean, they're very happy to work with us. Because our goals are the same. We want to improve people's lives. We want to improve kids' lives and the lives of families in St. Lucie County. So
when we're working with individuals as well as the public sector, which is important, the for-profit organizations, they see the value of us. I have a team of Publix volunteers that come every single Wednesday. And it's Sam's Club, Walmart. I could give you a list of multiple organizations that just come continuously to support what we do. But more importantly, they see the impact. They also have now the knowledge of if they have trouble within their own organization of a staff member in trouble, they know where to refer them to.
You're very involved. We know we haven't started talking about the programs that you run yet, but you're very involved with helping people with chronic disease.
Chronic disease became, and everything evolves as we're talking about how we started and where we are now. With just having a small food pantry because people are hungry was wonderful. But now we kind of take a look at, since we were partnered with Hands from day one, we realize how large of our population that we're serving are individuals with diabetes and hypertension, that diabetes out of control can kill you, and it's unbelievable. So we started doing surveys, trying to figure out how can we play a role and a part in this. So once we realized what we were working with the Hands, we were able then to we have a nurse that actually works for us, and in return, Marlene is amazing and a great teacher, and she in return was able to start doing the diabetes education. Again, partnering with the health department and Hands, we now every day are looking at that. They will come in, the hospitals refer them to be able to speak to someone that has to deal with the diabetes. We're able to help them, give them a meter, give them strips, and then now the education in the food pantry. We partner with the University of Florida to come in and they do our nutrition education. That evolved to us opening a garden. In the garden now we're teaching them what herbs they could use in their food instead of using salt and using pepper, how to read their labels. Every aspect of this has impacted the chronic disease that they have and ways that they can improve it. And there's nothing more amazing than someone to walk in the door and can use the right terminology to ask their doctor, what is my A1C? Prior to that, she had no idea what that was. She just knew the doctor said, you got to quit eating the sugar, or you got to quit doing the salt. Now they're actually really, and that was the part that I think that really woke up one day when that lady came in to see the nutritionist. My A1C is 7, it's getting better. So you know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing to educate them with that.
And I know that there are many volunteers who are very excited about working in your community garden. You want to talk a little bit about that? Because there might be people out there who want to help.
Our community garden has really grown. We're looking at over 1,000 buckets that are in our backyard. Everything we grow in a bucket. And in return, and because of the University of Florida, we were actually now have floating lettuce beds growing as well as hydroponics that we're working on. So when they come in there, you can bring children with you. You can have your families come out and have a day in the garden. You could help us, pick the stuff that's ready to grow. We're getting ready in September to do a big replant, and I'm very excited that Wells Fargo's coming out and helping us for all day and making that possible. And again, that garden plays a huge piece. And in return, the impact of it is that we also send plants home once a year with them to grow their own.
Mm-hmm. And you have a guest here today. I know that she has her story to tell. We haven't gotten into financial stability yet, but that's a big part of what you do is helping people become financially stable and improve their lives.
Absolutely. So I'm very excited because we can talk about getting ahead, and we can kind of segue into meeting with her about it. The getting ahead, we've always done budgeting and financial counseling with our clients when they came through the door with whatever crisis they had. Now there's actually a program that we can stand behind, and United Way is as well, and that is our Getting Ahead program. And this is a Ruby Payne model that has just so many facets to it that can actually see this working on a day-to-day as we teach these classes on how to move them out of poverty and being able to take a look at their own mental model of where they are. They are writing their own story for the future with our assistance, with our resources in our community, and it is actually, we're very excited. We're going to serve 76 people within our class this year and being able to come through this. And it is just taking that beginning step. What is it going to take to be able to move me forward? Some of it could be getting their GED. Some of it could be enrolling in college. Some of them it could be a trade. It's not necessarily, everybody's not meant for college, and we know that. So it's really working with them individually, building a relationship, building their confidence that they can move forward. And I cannot tell you, I've been attending both classes. We have partnered with Graceway Village, and they're teaching a class as well as we are. And I go back between the both of them. And I have to tell you, we're just seeing some amazing, we're in the middle of the class now, so now you really see them excited. When we wanted to take Memorial Day off, and they said, no, we'll come in early in the morning. We don't want to miss a class. You know that they're invested, and they're really excited about moving forward. And I'll let her go ahead and tell a little bit about herself. And I've known her, and she'll tell you about how she plays a part in the Getting Ahead.
Well, when Stacy first called me to do the Getting Ahead class, I was like, ugh, school. Didn't want to do that. But if Stacy called me to ask me to do something, I know I don't hesitate to do it. So I know she wouldn't ask me to do something if it wasn't beneficial to me. So, like, when I first started the class, it was like, okay, what we gonna do? See, paper, pens, oh man, we in class for real. But then as the guest speakers and stuff started coming in and talking, you have RCC, you have people that's coming in helping you build your credit score, and you got people coming in and telling you how you could get back in school if you want to get back in school, because I didn't know a lot of those programs was out there. Like for one, what they call St. Lucie on 7th Street.
Oh, community services.
Community services. I didn't know community services will help you if you didn't have the financial need to pay for school, and that's what I needed to do. I needed to renew my nursing license. And so when I found out that, I made an appointment, and it actually helped. I went back to school, I renewed my nursing license, and been working in it ever since because I wasn't working in it anymore. I had stopped when I started working for Mustardseed, so my license expired. But then trying to get back in a job, which is a good field, especially when you find out your license expired, it's like, how you gonna pay for that? Because class isn't cheap. And if you are already in a financial bind, you won't be able to do it. So you're still trying to pick out whatever you can instead of what you want to do. So you'll never be happy until you do exactly what you want to do. That's why I went back for my nursing, because that was the only thing I was happy doing. I still love volunteering. I still love, I do. I love Stacy them. I will go anytime she called me, I'll be there. Because I know anything that have to do with United Way or either Mustardseed is beneficial, and it also show you different ways to open different doors to where you want to be in life.
Wow, that story is going to help a lot of people. I sure appreciate you telling it. My goodness, I know we could go on, and I'm sure you're going to tell us a little bit more as we go on in the interview. But the individuals who graduate, what happens to those individuals after they graduate, or do they know now what opportunities might be out there? Let's talk about the goals of the individuals.
And when we first start off, it has to build that relationship. They have to trust you enough to tell you things about themselves and where their barriers are. But more importantly, is to have that relationship to build from is where we actually start seeing, what is it that you'd like to do? And you would have to be amazed to see what some of the goals were. And a lot of them with explaining what it's going to take to move forward for the things that they want in life. And that's it. Without a doubt, every one of them seems to want to own a home. Mm-hmm. Okay? Some of them want to go back to school. Some of them wanted just simple things. How do I not always be in crisis every minute of my life? And that's the things that we can start working with them. So obviously the relationships that we have in the community, as well as what we are working with community services, Indian River State College, Kaiser College, it's unlimited on where that part of the education part comes from. But the goal is, how did they get there? I met with a young lady last night, and I said to her one day, she's very excited. She actually went and took her tape test. Now, she's been out of school a long time. So she took her tape test. She did okay, but she's going to need a lot of work. And then she didn't have transportation. But if I don't go to school, how am I going to get the job? Because if not, I'm just going to work at a fast food place. And I can't do that no more. I can't stand that long anymore. So that she actually took the test was amazing in itself. Now she's ready to take her classes, and she's moving forward. But what she really wants at the end of the day was to be able to have a job as a receptionist and an office, because she said to me, then I'll be somebody. And you know what? She will be somebody she can be proud of, and it's a way that she can make more money and be able to obtain the things that she's looking to do to move forward. The difference that I think it is that we have a part-time case manager. It's not just 1 year or graduate after 16 classes and you're done. We're going to follow you over a year. And then we're going to be there for whenever you need us at Mustardseed. But that case management piece is crucial. That's going to stay on top of you and saying, did you follow through with your appointment? Did you get there? Is there any problems, any barriers? She doesn't have transportation. And so we do run our buses, but what if they don't run it late at night? So if she's taking a night class as she's trying to get a day job, that's our job to continue removing those barriers so she can move forward. So the goals could be anything, and everything we do today is driven from a credit score. Everything. So we've had young ladies come in with credit scores low in the 300s, but we've had some great financial advisors that know about credit, and in return, and actually that gentleman, I'm very excited, is coming back this year for us to work with both of them, or both our classes. And after a year, that credit score for that one young lady in that 320 was well over 700 after a year of really working on it.
Yes, just understanding what you're doing affects your credit. Mm-hmm. So if you change your behavior, then more than likely, hopefully, your credit score will improve.
And that's exactly it will. And there's a lot of techniques that I wasn't even aware of, and when he stepped in and started helping us with this. So we're very excited, and you heard him talk about what will happen if your credit scores are low. How will that help you, impact you, like when you rent an apartment or something like that? We were just talking about it.
Now you can't even get an apartment without having a 600 credit score. Apartment houses, everybody is requiring that. And if you don't have one, the deposit is much higher, the rent will be much higher because you don't meet their criteria for what they want in a establishment. Now you got to come up with 3 times your budget. You have to come up, whatever their rent is, you have to make over 3 times that for them to even entertain the application for you.
That's correct. So a lot of our companies that we do work with, and everything is built from that credit score, and if you have a prior eviction. So this is why it's crucial that we educate them about evictions, because you need to come when there's a crisis, not to the point to where you're ready to have it that day. How can we help you prevent from getting that eviction? Because that eviction is crucial, because once you have that on your record, you are looking at 3 times the amount of the deposit. And if your rent is going to be $800, who's going to have that kind of money to be able just to pay the deposit, let alone first and last?
Right.
So
right.
this class is not just about individuals that are trying to do better, but to have the knowledge and the wherewithal. We're adding another component under the rental part of this, and mortgage is being able to tell them, understanding what the renter's rights are and what's the appropriate way to go about dealing with if there's a problem. So the more education that we can offer them and have that knowledge on how to handle themselves in a professional manner, the easier they're going to move through the systems.
Right, and another way you help people too is through your thrift stores.
Correct.
I know that you have two, and that you have needs, and you're always looking for donations. Let's tell our audience how you help people through that, families.
Well, the thrift stores were set up actually originally for a fundraising tool, basically to be able to fund our social service side. So as that evolved as well, we now have two locations, one in Fort Pierce and one in Port St. Lucie. Both have food pantries. So Fort Pierce is in the morning and Port St. Lucie's is in the afternoon. So we have a food pantry running all day, Monday through Thursday. And the goal for that is not just that they're thrift stores. If individuals come in for clothing, I'd much rather you let us help you with clothing than you be able to pay towards your bills. You're not going to have an endless amount of money to pay the bills all the time, but we can help you on the clothing side. Furniture, if you just moved into a new place, situations arrive every day. The family has separated for whatever reason, and either mom moves out with the kids or whatever's going on, she doesn't have the furniture to do that with. So we are able to help with those types of services there. So our thrift store acts as a funding source, but more importantly, it's also 2 to 3 of our services that we provide. We also are able to have volunteers, and that's a big part of us. And ways to help with that? Absolutely. Donate your clothing, okay? Donate your furniture. And if it's in good condition and we can resell it, or we can give it away to a family that may need it.
And you'll come pick it up.
And we will come pick it up. Yes, we will. So those are actually, and they're doing actually very well. They just had a giant sale Saturday, and they were ecstatic. And a lot of our customers came back for the bill. And it wasn't just our customers. Our clients are learning to know there's thrifty ways to shop versus going to the higher end stores. And as they continue to save money, and savings is a big piece of that, and not just our getting ahead, on our day-to-day budgets, we work with clients that walk in our door and being able to save that money to be able to meet the needs. And it's really about understanding what our needs are and what our wants are. And once we kind of relate in that way, it makes it a little easier for them to understand.
And I know it's a surprise to all of us, but Thanksgiving's around the corner. Can you believe it? I mean, school started, and October, November, and their mustard seed will be with their Thanksgiving feast. I know you need volunteers and turkeys.
Yes, it is around the corner. It is just around the corner. And every time I turn around, I just can't believe it. It's August, and people say, "Oh, you're worried about August?" No. I'm worried because November's just right around the corner too. Yeah. So this is our 29th year, and this is a wonderful feast. And I'll have to tell you, because Carl Junker was the original, executive director that started that feast, and this is 29 years ago, and we're still doing it to this day. And in return, it's for that purpose of Thanksgiving was really to help those that were in need, those that are alone, okay, and those that want to give to others. And so that was a perfect way to step in. So the needs, absolutely. You can spare a $10, $15 gift card, drop it by Mustardseed. It'll help us be able to meet the need that we know. We're looking to serve between 8,000 to 10,000 people this year. And so if 8,000 people was going to get turkey, I'm going to need 800 turkeys.
Hey, you can say while you're at Publix.
That's right. Please, and Publix is amazing.
Pick up a gift card.
Pick up a gift card, drop it off to us. That's a great need. Volunteering that day of, or help us with home deliveries. But in return, this is a big part of us, because people say, "Oh, this is a great event for you." It is, because that's exactly what Mustard Seed was formed to do. To have faith as small as a mustard seed, to help and give to others, that you can make a difference. And that's a great way to make a difference.
And you're talking about families too, kids who
Absolutely.
participate in it. They not only come and they feast, but they also volunteer. Let's talk a little bit about the volunteer opportunities.
The volunteer opportunities are amazing. You could serve under the tent. You can help us prep. You can help do home deliveries. You can help us with cleanup. Just managing the volunteers, because there'll be 1,500 volunteers that will come out on that day. So just being able, you
Wow.
can bring your small children, you can help serve a plate to a family that wouldn't have one at home if it wasn't because of you. There's a lot of opportunities. And sometimes people can't come on Thanksgiving Day, but you could be helping us all along and helping us prep. We've got a great team that's over in Longwood Circle, and they just got together as neighbors, and they started cooking turkeys.
Wow.
And I mean, you just be surprised what it is. The high school comes out. We were able to take Fort Pierce Central and Treasure Coast High, took their culinary programs and incorporated the Mustardseed Thanksgiving Feast. So we give them our turkeys, and they're able to cook those as part of their curriculum and teaching their students.
Oh my goodness.
So it's really evolved over the
Good
years.
partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to have you on again to just talk about that. I mean, that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
If someone wants to volunteer or donate, let's tell them how they can do that.
Absolutely. They can call Mustard Seed at 465-6021. You can go to our website. I mean, it is amazing what's out there today and the opportunity. But you call us, we're going to come in, we're going to sit with you and find out what is it that you'd like to do. I've got lots of jobs, but if it's not what you really want to do, I'd like to put you in a place, because then you're really going to want to be there.
And you don't have to have a degree to volunteer, right?
No,
and
you
it doesn't
don't.
matter what age you are.
I had a nice lady that came to see me. Her and her husband are both retired school teachers just recently. Now, he's staying very busy and at home. And she says, I can't be at home. She's come, it's just amazing. She's in our Port St. Lucie store. She's a wonderful volunteer. And she's actually going to get involved with our Getting Ahead program. So this is right back in helping those individuals that know they could use her help and guidance, especially when it comes back going to school.
Yeah, it's important. Volunteer. People think it's something minor in their lives, but it's not. It's a big. It really has a big impact on the organizations that are there to help our community become a better place to live. So I want to thank you both for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
It's been wonderful, and I want to thank you. And if you would like to learn more about United Way out there in our viewing audience, please, you can contact United Way or Mustardseed Ministries. Thank you for joining us.